I've been in Mongolia almost 8 years. I came first in 1997 as a short-term trip, and I was a high school teacher, so had the summer off, and I could come and check it out. So I did a YWAM-DTS in 1998 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And then from my outreach, because my goal was to come here, I came straight from my outreach in Thailand to Mongolia in February of '99. The families we support in Flourishing Future, there's about 20 families that get some form of monthly support. Did you raise the stirrups over there?
Yeah, how does that look?
Looks good.
I think he's ready for it. Probably. So this is fine. I don't think he's gonna be ready for you, but we're gonna try it. So I'll put the chain on him. So if he starts bucking, I'll try to stop him. Let him hear me. He likes the body shape, just so you know.
Okay. My family is very average, so there's nothing special about my family. Maybe when I was 7 years old, my mom and my dad divorced, but that's quite common for Americans. Then my mom remarried, and then we moved up here to this area. We moved to Pecatonica, and I lived on a horse farm. So when I was young, 4th grade, my first job was training horses. So I got paid money, about $50 to train a horse. That's what I did growing up. But I don't know when it happened, but I do remember my grandma, my mom's mom, telling me, Susan, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I believed her. I don't know why, but I believed very young that if I wanted to do it, I could do it. Oh, Jose, there's my helper. I got him. Jose, you got to do your work. Come on, Jose. No, go do your work. Go. Do your work, Jose. Can you get him without waking up Grandma? Agi is white boy bacha. No, Tim Yamachin Mongolin Turhako, his face. But his personality is his dad. Anjo is Mongolian Susan. So she looks Mongolian, but she acts like me.
What?
Can you help me a second?
Why?
Because I got the snake around my neck and I can't get him off. Come here. The word that Americans use is dysfunctional. It was even worse. So my stepdad was drinking, he was abusive, and I was pretty, I guess, angry because I didn't like the way my mom was treated. I didn't like the way I was treated. Yeah, I just wasn't a good kid, I guess. I had problems. I knew I had problems. I actually was so extreme that I couldn't feel pain anymore. I could cut myself and not feel it because I didn't want to feel mad or sad. So that's why you start drinking. That's why people start drinking and doing drugs, is to not feel whatever they're feeling. And when I was 18, 19, I decided I don't want to live this way. I want to change my life. And that's when I became a Christian. And that's when my life turned around. I also realized I had a desire to serve, to help other people. At that time, in the early 90s, there was more problems with children in Mongolia, like in the manholes and stuff. Now there's more problems with adults in Mongolia, but at that time it was different.
The girl with the baby with the small head had a really good job for 6 months, and she's quit it. And not, this is a funny story, about a year ago, maybe less, I just had to run to the store, and the Mongolian thing to do is send your kid to the store and you don't go. But I said, I really want to go to the store. I said, the only thing I'm afraid of is just running into someone who wants to talk to me. Like, I just didn't want to get caught. But I said, I'm going to go anyway. So I go run into the store, and I'm coming back, and the girl in the red running down the hill and grabs me. She's drunk. And won't let me go. And this guy is running after her to beat her brains out. And she's saying, Susan, save me, save me, save me. And I said, you know, whatever you're in, it's yours and it's not mine. And I left. But I didn't know what it was or what was happening. And I continued walking to my house. All of the little kids down here had poles. And they had been drinking together. And one of the guys, the guy that was coming after to beat her was covered in blood. And I just, you know, the compassionate thing would be this poor woman's getting beaten by this guy, but I just said, this isn't mine, this is yours. And I didn't know what happened before, and I found out later because it was a huge deal in the neighborhood, screaming, beating, yelling, pulls, that they had broken a vodka bottle and started cutting this guy. The sisters and them held him down and started cutting the guy. So I was glad I had stayed out of it. But the one girl with this little baby in the blue, I've never seen her drunk, but the other two sisters, I've seen drunk often, and their husband. And it was so sad that day because as the line was parading after with poles and sticks in the hand, the last was the husband of the oldest sister, who was too drunk, that if they had been in any real trouble, couldn't have defended him when you would hope that he would. So I felt like everything I did was blessed and easy and went very well. I still feel that way most time in America, but I lived there from when I was 27 to when I was 40. So I feel strange here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I grew up there. I mean, I wasn't very grown up at 27. I really wasn't. it also can be quite lonely in America because you don't have the same support system, structure, community. I have it because I live with my mom. I take care of my mom. She takes care of me. My mom is 72. You saw my mom today. Her friends will come over and they say, oh, I don't want to be a burden on my family. I don't want to be a burden on my kids. I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And I look at them, I said, are you serious? I mean, I'm 42 and I'm a burden. Why wouldn't you be a burden at 72? Why can't someone take care of you? Why can't someone help you? The way Mongolians respect elder people and help them, they don't understand that. And they think they're going to do everything by themselves and independently. And I think it's just strange and weird. So even today when you're at my house talking about network marketing, if we are a team, we can do it like that. If I'm thinking I have to do it by myself, I have to buy this myself, I have to pay for this myself, you can't do anything. So it's harder for me to live here than it is for me to live there right now. But I'm transitioning. It's only been 3 years and I'm still trying to get used to life here. The first 3 were the hardest because I spoke Mongolian okay, but I didn't speak Mongolian great. I had been there 8 months when I took them in.
Би одоо яг дээсээ дээдлэх хийжтэйгээ тэгээд доотлын нэг дүүдрээ ирэхэд үүтэй. Тэгээд гуруулаа их сүзэн гэж таах. 9 оны 7 сарын юм уу да. 7 сарын дунд тавьцаа. Анх тэр байранд нь очиж цуг амьдарч ирсэн.
Айгуу гоё миний ер нь тэгээд өсвөрнээс айгуу гоё өнгөрсөн л дээ сүсэгчтэй юм аа. Яг нөө миний хажууд сайн багш бас сайн ээж байсан тэгээд сүсэгчээр айгуу бахархдаг л та.
Тэгээд хамт амьдардаг болоо их юм сурсан. Тэгээд миний амьдрал чих хөөчлөгдсөн. Тэгээд тэр хүн л миний амьдралыг өөрчилсөн гэж боддог.
When I first took the kids in, I guess I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I said, you can spend the night if someone's going to beat you, if someone's drunk. I didn't know it was going to be every night. Youngest told me that he was 8, and then he had his birthday on October 5th, and he turned 11. He didn't know his age. He knew his birthday was October 5th, but he didn't know how old he was. And the boys were both in 3rd grade, and they were both older than all the kids in 3rd grade. But they told me that they were 8, 11, and 13. But when they started having birthdays and I got their birth certificates, I found out that they were 11, 13, and 16. Because they were from one family, siblings, they also had a way of speaking to each other which was very dysfunctional. So they always would scream and yell. And all they heard at home was like "Ate shu," and they didn't have and they had all the dynamics that were unhealthy from their home. So it took them about 2 years to speak nicely to each other, to have normal conversation. And then when I took other kids in the family and put them with them, it actually made it better because it broke up the family dynamics.
Билээ тэгж танилцчаад ерөөсөө нэг 2-3 сар бас билээ нэг 7 хоногийн зайтай нэг уулздаг байсан. Очиж гэрт нь очиод цаа уугаад энэ төр болоод баг асуудал яриа тий. Юу болж юу үлдэх вэ? Яаж туслах вэ? Яах вэ? Ийх үү гэдэг. Тэгж байгаа сүнснэгчтэй илүү дотн болоод
6-7 months later, where I moved out of my apartment and I moved from Griffeth in my apartment up to the Gare district. And I told their mom, I said, because she was squatting in the basement really close by. And I said to her, I'm moving to the Gare district.
яг ярьж чад биш сажууд нь үйжсэн. Манай ээжтэй ярилцаа тий та ингээд Одоо танаа би ингээд манай зоргоо хурж надаа ийм асуудал ярьсан юм аа. Амьдрал нь жоохон хэцүү энэ төр. Тэг ингээ өөртөө надтай баймаа гэж ярьсан юм аа. Тэгээд санал болгохлаа би яг тэрийг нь хүлээж авсан юм аа. Тэг яг байх хугацаанд ингээд танаас ерөөс танахаас одоо ингээд танаа төрсөн хүмүүсийг ч аваад би өөрөө хөвгт болчихгүй. Яг зөвөр төр хэсэг хугацаанд тийм өсгөж хүмүүжүүлье гэдэг үүднээс ярилцаад тэгэж яг албан ёсны юугаар олон ярилцж байгаа яасан байхгүй бидэд очижсэн.
She says, "Okay, Susan, I know what you're saying. You can take the kids with you." And she said the older two, they don't even have to come and visit me.
Oh.
So her favorite one was the youngest one, Woodley. She says he has to come and visit me, but the older two don't even have to visit me. When she said those words to me, it hit me really hard because I realized I have to be their mom. And I didn't realize that before. I was just keeping them safe at night. They were just sleeping overnight in my house. And it wasn't a big celebration. Yay, I'm their mom. It was like, what did I get myself into? I'm only 28 years old. I don't know how to be a mom, you know? But, and I knew that this calling or this gift was gonna last a while. You know, your kid, you don't do it for like a month and get tired of it. So I had to make some changes. And so I started asking them if they did their homework, you know. I had already given them keys to the apartment, and the youngest two of the 6 kids I ended up taking in, they started calling me mom. Before they didn't call me mom. They always said, you know, Susan H. And the ones are older. I mean, I wasn't even old enough to be their mom, you know.
Тэр үед бас манай аав аюу хайрхуугаар тэгээд ээжийн зодцдог тийм хэцүү байсан амьдрал аюу хэцүү байсан учраас тэр бүлээс салах юмсаа тэр бүлийг ингээд орох юмсаа аюух боддог байсан чинь харин сүсэгч гарч ирсэн тэгээд аюу байлсан.
Өмнө их гадуур явах хүсдэгсэн тэр үнтэй очсноос хойш явах нь багассан. Тэгээ сургууль сурдаг болсон. Сургуультай ч гэсэн аягүй ихтэй болсон. Тэгээ сургууль явж төгссөн. Ер нь бол яг тэр юм байдлаар ч юм уу аягүй хурцсан.
Year or two, they're like, "Oh, you can't cook. We have to cook for you because we respect you. We can't let you cook for us."
Oh.
And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, your cooking must be really bad." I said, no, they just want to respect me and treat me as the elder and serve me instead of me serve them. So I learned a lot about the culture, and so many of the missionaries that I knew, they didn't speak Mongolian, they didn't understand the culture, they didn't do things with Mongolians, they didn't, you know, and for me, I got to experience a lot with them.
Ээжээсээ би зургалаа би хамгийн том. Тэгээд манай ээж хоёр яг тэр үедээ бол бас л адилхан ядарсан нэг л тийм таньшин бодлоор байсан. Тэгээд энэ дээрээ суух шийдвэртэй бүхэнд танилцаад бид бүүнээр амьддаг байсан. Миний доотлын дуу манай сүүхчээ дүүн үргэж авсан. Тэгээ бус дүүнэр маань одоо бас л адилхан асуумжийн төв тэгэл яагаад гэхдээ би чинь нэг ингээл багш нь олоод ирж байгаа шүү дээ өөрхөн хүүхдүүдийн багш нь олоод ирж байгаа тий тэгэнгүүтээ сүлдээ ингээд нэг сүсэгчийг хүүхд нь олоод ирж байгаа юм яа тэгэхээр нөгөө би нэг хүүхдүүдтэй дундаа орцсон тий буруу зүйл хийгээл ястан нэрнэ сайн зүйл хийгээл буруу зүйл хийгээл тэгэнгүүт нөгөө сүсэгчийг ингээд бүх зүйл дээр ингээд нэг болчихсон юм бид сүсэгчийг ингээд хүүхдийгээ тэг хүмүүс тэгдэг байхгүй нэг сүсэнгийн уян гаяа гэж ярьдаг байхгүй тэгэнгүүт би амар баяртай тэг яг нэг сүсэгчийг ингээд гэр бас ингээд багтаад тий яг ингээд тэр аягүй гоё сайхан зүйлийг мэдсэн даа баярлалаа.
Сүсэгч яг миний амьдралд яг зөндөө гайхамшигтай гоё миний амьдрал зөндөөсөн. Тэгээд шинэ юм бол би хэсэгтэй тэр манай ээжийн амьдрал жоохон хэцүүсэн тэр үед би ч гадуур тийм тэгээд хичээл мичээлдээ яваагүй байгаас болтгоо. Хичээл мичээлж гүцгүй ойлгохгүй. Тэгээд сүсэгчтэй ирээл сүсэгч нэг банк гэрийн багш авдаг гэсэн. Гэрийн багштай хичээлээ зорддог болоод гайгүй англи сураад. Тэгээд ер нь сургууль муу гараад гэсэн. Тэгээд Сингапур Монголиа Японы нэг сургууль тэмцээрэн сураад айлжуулт талаар төгсөн.
I wanted to see the kids trained in something besides school. So I started a travel agency. The travel agency is called Rinky Dink Travel. It still exists. And I trained all the kids as tour guides. So they would take groups to the Gobi, or Lake Hovskol, or different places. And then my last 2 years, I taught at the international school. And I taught mathematics. And those were probably the hardest years, the last 2 years, because when I went to the international school, 40% of the kids are Mongolian, 60% are foreigners. Every class is in English. The Mongolians are extremely wealthy. So like Batbolt's daughter was in my class, and parliament member from Bainulgi, his daughter was in my class. Big business people. Who else has a lot of money in Mongolia? So all these powerful Mongolians in my class, and then all these other kids, Australians, Koreans, Americans. But every day when I got to school, it felt like America. And every day when I got home, it was, living without running water, living in the Gare district, sometimes freezing cold. Sometimes you see somebody laying on the road, you don't know if they're dead or alive. You have to call the police. It was the contrast of going back and forth from poor to rich, poor to rich, poor to rich every day.
So it was like
It was very stressful. It was very stressful to feel that. And even when they hired me, I didn't apply for the job. But they called me and said, Susan, will you come and teach mathematics? I said, let me think. I'm the director of a charitable organization. I'm the director of a travel agency. I have 6 kids. I have 2 birth children. I just started laughing. I said, I'm not going to teach at your school. But I got to experience, so many things that other people don't experience, and see the kids grow up and see what they were like. And I never felt like, I'm suffering in Mongolia and I'm just serving God and I'm just doing this because I should, or it's the right thing to do. When we moved to the Gare district, and I lived in the Gare district, more than 10 years. We had to make a fire. We had to go get water. We had to, stand in line. Now the kids would not make me stand in line and go get water. Like, they would always do it, but every once in a while, if they didn't know I had to go get water or whatever. But if they knew, they would, like, if I wanted to really shame them, I'd be like, well, I guess I gotta go get the water. And then they'd be like, no, we'll go. Like, they would feel so bad if I stood in line and got water. But, it was wonderful. We always had fun. I learned so much from them.
So they understand family, they understand relationship. And they're amazing. Amazing.
But I just miss people. That's all. I just miss people. Tell people nothing works, but everything's possible. So the bus is gonna break down. You're gonna be late where you're going. The electricity won't work when you get there. Nothing works, but everything's possible.
Сүсэгчээ маш их үнэхээр маш их баярлалтай шүү танд. Яа тэгэхээр Монголд энэ таны хийсэн зүйл маш их зүйл байгаа. Тэгээд баг таны өмнөөс харамсмаар хамт залуу насаа тийм энэ ингээд Монголд ингээд ийм хүмүүстэй ингээд тийм болохгүй хүмүүстэй тэгээд ийм ядуугаас нахуулаад бүр ингээд тийм одоо бид нар сайхан тэр юм бид сайхан болчихсон уулчсан өсөж дэвчиж. Тэгээд энэ үе хүртэл биднийг ингээд асарч хамгаалаад бүр ингээд баян ингээд ингэжтэй тэрээр бидрийг одоо өнөөдөр ингээд амьд гарын ганцхан жилийн дөрөв гэдэг шиг тийм хийж өгдөө сайхан болж маш их баярлалаа. Тэгээд танд үнэхээр маш их